So we have a new screen time rule at home. 1 more hour for everyone. That's right, 1 extra hour of screen time. The catch? You're only allowed using AI. I'm Charles. I'm not a coder, but I'm building anyway. And this? Well, this is Jarvis the Machines.
Charles versus
the Machines.
Okay, so as usual, start off this week's episode with some AI news. A little bit quieter than the last week or two, relatively speaking. Not as many models coming out this week compared to normal. Some cool features though. One that I've been using a lot the last 3 days is ChatGPT's voice mode, which isn't to be confused with its usual dictation to speech, or when you're talking to ChatGPT, that's kind of dictation in the background. This is a real, like Jarvis moment, Iron Man Jarvis. When you go download the latest ChatGPT and you activate voice mode, a little blue bubble sits there and it just communicates with you. And the best part is it can look at your other projects. So I don't even type, I don't talk, I just talk to my Jarvis, so to speak. It checks all my projects. If I'm using 3 agents in one project, it makes sure that the agents don't trip over each other. So from a productivity point of view, it's been game-changing. You can have it on your phone as well, so you can just have an earpod or an earpiece in, and you can hear the communication going back and forth, and you can give it instructions and leave it. I do want to be careful with this, because I think what I am already seeing, myself included, is doom scrolling on social media is now being replaced by AI coding out in public, because with ChatGPT's app and the mobile Claude app, you can do remote coding sessions. So your computers are on at home and you can check in and keep them going. If you're trying to release a feature, which sometimes I am and I'm away and I need to keep things going, then that's a bit different. But I can see how we need to be a bit careful with this sort of feature. The other, the other big news, the one big model release that did come out was Claude Opus 5. So no more 4.8, straight to 5. And it's jumped straight up to the top of the benchmarks, as they all tend to do. But it's kept the same price as Opus 4.8. So not that crazy Fable pricing of $50 per output million tokens. I've used it for a few days. Pretty good. It's hallucinated a couple times. I think yesterday it felt like it was nerfed. Just got dumb all of a sudden. And through all that, GPT 5.6 from OpenAI is just so consistent. So that's still, as I said in my previous episode, that's still my daily driver. And even from planning, it makes a lot of assumptions, Opus 5. And to be honest, a lot of the Opus models do that. A lot of the Anthropic models, they tend to make assumptions and then they say it very confidently, so you trust them. But this is why what I spoke about last week, I take my plan, give it to GPT and back and forth to make sure. And now that I'm using voice in GPT, I'm finding I'm using Fable and Opus less and less, because I'm learning the ins and outs of coding. I've given rules to my voice agent to go, okay, this is what I want you to look out for. I actually call it tripwire. I'm building, let's use my current app, the Handover app, as an example. I'm busy updating security features. I'm busy in adding a new photo import feature. Plus I'm working on a redesign of the mobile app. 3 different features working on different work trees. Now, if none of that made sense to you, don't worry about it, other than the fact that I'm working on 3 parts of the project, and it's very easy for the agents to trip over each other. But now with Voice Agent, it kind of checks in for me and lets me know what's happening, and that's been great. One of the more worrying stories that came out recently, I don't know if you saw this, with frontier models destroying books, ripping the spines off and scanning them to feed the AI machines, to teach them, to train them. And then the books are destroyed and the papers are removed. I think that's something that's coming in the future, that books are going to be a trading commodity, because that's what's happening. They're consuming as much as they can. The other reason, it's not just the knowledge, it's how it's written, it's how it's spoken, so to speak. Synthetic AI slop, which you hear so much about, they're trying to train that out of the model. And how do you do that? By previously handwritten or spoken word, putting that training data into the model. It's all a little bit robotic. As someone that's very positive on AI, things like that don't really leave me feeling that good, if I'm honest. The arts and creativity. It's a big part of my reality, and that seemed a little bit cold and senseless to destroy books like that. I don't know the full story. I'll do some more research and see what other facts can come up. But just on the outside, that sort of news is not great. Speaking of AI slop, I actually forgot about this. The politician who read AI stage directions, basically a Canadian politician gave a speech and read out twice the AI's actual notes. Here's a more natural flowing version of that section that reads like a legislative speech. I mean, the speech was back in June, but the clip's currently going viral. And I don't know about you, but I've been guilty of this. You know, when I'm sending out all these different emails, I will use Whisperflow and speak the email out and then give it to AI to turn into a draft. That being said, I've created detailed Charles voice skills with anti-AI slop. So I've given it kind of ironically, like what the earlier story of the books being ripped up and fed to the machine, I've fed a lot of my own podcasts and Substack and emails I've written, both work or personal, to my agent, and it's learned how I speak, and it greatly assists me in writing. So when I get that first draft back, it's a little bit closer to who I am and saves me a lot of time to tweak. But there have been times, I'll admit, where I've maybe cut a corner and I send something and I read it afterwards and you're just like, what is that? You know, the dreaded M dash, which is banned anywhere. I loved a good dash, and now thanks to AI, you're not allowed using them. So there you go. All right, so to this week's episode. The main topic I wanted to talk about was actually the use of AI and people using it more. I've come to realize that if I was going to give one piece of advice, I have a young daughter, and I keep saying to her, just play with AI. I don't care in what way, shape, or form. It's not homework, it's not coding, it's just interact with ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever it is. Well, let me give you some examples, right? I'm a very keen photographer and have been for years. And over the last year or so, I've actually been feeding my images to a particular model, a particular agent in one project, so it's all in the same place, and it's been critiquing my work. And now that might sound like, oh my goodness, that's, what's a robot going to know about your work? But keep in mind, all those books that were ripped up and fed to it, it has so much knowledge on artistic interpretation, on the mechanics and the technicalities of, in my case, photography. And I have to be honest, it was extremely helpful in improving my photography. I said to it to be constructive, not to just tell me what I want to hear. And I would push back at times, and that's important to have your own voice, but just to have, again, the smartest person in the room articulate these coherent points about, in my case, my photography, it was really powerful. And it helped narrow and fine-tune, give me some purpose with my shooting. So I'd go out with a task or with an idea of how I wanted to shoot. And I would test it. I'd put two different images up. One that I know I was kind of trying to take the easy social media friendly version, or one that was a little more artistic, a little more vulnerable, a little bit more of me. And it would always choose the more authentic one every single time without fail. And that's just one example where it doesn't have to just be coding. And I think that's often how it's thought about: machines, coding, guys sitting up till 3 a.m. drinking Red Bull, hacking the matrix. Like, not at all. Go take a photo of your fridge right now. Go take a photo of your fridge, put on ChatGPT and say, give me 3 meals from what you see here. Silly little things like that. Come up with interactive ways of introducing AI into your life for yourself and with your kids. Make a game. Like, you can create any sort of game and then you play together. What I think is important, that when we do this, it shouldn't just be something you say to your child, right, go and play for an hour on your device. I think that's not healthy. It can be used as a family experience where you can learn chess together. Another great example is, I'll listen to a podcast or watch a YouTube video, and let's say it's something on how to leverage AI to edit these videos and save time. I'll listen to a couple, or I'll watch a few episodes. I'm like, oh, that's amazing. There's a lot of information. I will literally just take the link, drag it into ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude, and tell them roughly what I was watching and what I think I can get out of it. Even just ballpark. And it'll read the transcript, watch the video, and break those down into digestible, chunks, give you a plan of, okay, this is what I got from the video. And if it's in a project you've been working in already, it'll go, okay, well, I know, let's say for me in my Handover app, as it relates to you in the Handover app, now that I've watched this video, you can take this, this, and this point out of it. And I go, okay, make a skill, create a skill of this. So every time I go to edit my videos, you apply Charles' video editing skill, and it'll pull out remotion and create some of these lovely graphics you see on the video. It'll go and research topics, things for me to talk about, and that's one skill that I just apply. Or another thing, with me not being a coder, I'm trying to learn more about this. I created this really user-friendly 200-page beginner's guide to being an orchestrator, as in someone who orchestrates your AI agents. But it's fine-tuned to me. The agent went and looked at all my projects, what I'm doing, how I work, and created a custom ebook, which is sitting right now on my Kindle now, read it at night, of how to plan software projects. What's the right order to do it in? Learning about GitHub and Git and all these sorts of things. And if there's anything I'm not sure, I'll just open my voice agent and go, okay, this is in the book. What does that mean? Well, it means this, this, and this. And it's already starting to edit version 2 of the book. So you can just see, when I say anything you can think of, you really can. So the reason I say all this is because whether people like it or not the wave is coming, the wave is here. And I will bang that drum every single week, because as with each passing day, with me being surrounded and so entrenched in this AI world, I'm seeing those changes and I'm living proof of it. The apps and the technical products that I'm able to put out for someone who doesn't know technically how to code, it's incredible. And it's only getting better and better and better. And so having, especially if you have young kids, letting them get comfortable with this, I think you'll be doing them a massive service. I really do. It can be done in a healthy way. It can be done in a constructive way. It can be done in a way that's good for the family, that's inclusive with the family. It can be balanced. But the sooner this is done, the better they will be moving forward. The whole landscape as far as education, careers, work, it's all going to be shifting. So why not take this opportunity right at the beginning to empower yourselves and your kids? So that's kind of all I had to say this week. Bit of a different episode. I just realized it's something that I apply personally to my life. It's something that's important to me as a father. I say it to my friends, to loved ones, have a play. It's not intimidating. Ask a question. Just ask and they'll tell you. Right, well, that's all we got time for this week. As always, thanks for joining. I'm Charles, clearly not a coder, but I'm building anyway. And this is Charles vs. the Machines. See you next time.
Charles versus
the machines.